friends, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host this morning, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, along with my two sisters. And here's the cool thing. We're sisters in terms of, being a community, being bonded together, and that whole sisterhood concept that we often hear of. But we are also sisters growing up in Brooklyn, New York, with the same mother and same father. And we have had the privilege of working together and co-creating this community of Women's Prosperity Network, filled with extraordinary, impact-focused, heart-centered women just like you. So thank you for being a part of this community and bringing your unique contribution to our world. We appreciate you. And I know that today you're going to appreciate one of our members, a recent addition to the community when we look at the 13-year span of Women's Prosperity Network. Laura Barker is in the house, and she's here today. She is an expert in showing you how to maximize your growth while you minimize risk. And as entrepreneurs, it can be a risky road out there. So today she's going to be diving into how to generate leads, quality leads for your business in just 20 minutes a day, getting rid of the chaos and overwhelm and that constant scrambling. So welcome to Well Wednesday, Laura Barker.
Well, thank you, Nancy Matthews. It is so good to be here. I'm just honored and privileged to be able to speak with you this morning and hopefully share some good information that people can put to use to start getting those leads and growing their businesses.
And serving more people. That's what it's all about, right? Being the one for more people who are happy to pay you. So we'll dive in deep to the conversation in just a few minutes. And I want to let everybody know that the structure of this Wow Wednesday is that I'll go for about 30 minutes of conversation and interviewing our guest this morning. And then you will have the opportunity to ask some questions. So have a pen and paper ready. And at the halfway point, I will open up for those of you that are here with us on Zoom, and you'll be able to ask your question live on the set. And if you're joining us via Facebook, you can put your questions in the comment feed, and I'll bring those to the table for Laura. So let me tell you a little bit about her background, and then we'll dive right in. So Laura Barker is an international business owner and consultant who works with business owners to maximize growth and minimize risk. Successful businesses recognize the value of investing in themselves for marketing, lead generation, and product development, as well as building a strong and secure foundation. And I do want to make sure we talk about the minimizing risk piece a little bit today, Laura, while also investing in their employees and their team, who are the lifeblood of their business. Laura's business acumen spans across a variety of industries, including having founded her own law firm, co-founding an internationally successful retail business, and consulting for a wide spectrum of businesses, including manufacturing, retail, professional service businesses, and many more. So no matter what type of business you have, she's got wisdom and golden nuggets to drip upon you. Look for her soon to be released book, The Itty Bitty Book of Cybersecurity. Don't be scared, be prepared. And of course, you can go to barkerbusinesssolutions.com, and she's got some goodies for you there. So welcome, Laura.
Wow, thank you, Nancy. It's kind of crazy listening to you say all that stuff. I don't think about those things that I've done, but all of that experience has really led me to, who I am today. And being able to serve folks, like you say, in a wide variety of business structures and types of businesses. So just thrilled to be able to bring this today.
So good, so good. And we're grateful for you. So I'm going to ask you to dive straight in, because 20 minminutes a day, really? How do we do that? That sounds too good to be true.
Right? Absolutely. I totally get that. So I am so happy to be sharing this with folks, because this is all about building your business on LinkedIn And a lot of people are really intimidated by LinkedIn, especially if you've kind of been a Facebook fan, which nothing wrong with Facebook, right? But if you're not utilizing LinkedIn to grow your business, you are just missing out and leaving a lot of money on the table and a lot of people unserved. Because I
Well,
promise you that in 800 million members on LinkedIn, your tribe is there.
I'm so glad you positioned it like that, because people think, oh, everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Instagram. And for me, I know LinkedIn felt confusing because you show up differently on LinkedIn than you do Facebook or Instagram. And I wasn't, until meeting you, that is, I wasn't really sure how to work LinkedIn. So no, and it felt like that's where my gold mine of real clients were, because it's more business focused, right?
Absolutely. So when you think about all of the people on Facebook, I mean, that is just a huge range of people, from business people to just people, homemakers to whatever, right? But on LinkedIn, the people on LinkedIn, they are business people. They are business owners. They are in corporations. They are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, the whole wide range. And so the nice thing about that is that you kind of get to skip some of the chit chat, if you will. When you're going on Facebook to try to, maybe get some business, you're going to have to kind of, it takes a little bit longer to
Yeah,
build that relationship, I guess
yeah,
is what I'm
yeah.
saying. On LinkedIn, you do show up very differently. The thing that you have to do on LinkedIn is understand that your profile can do the heavy lifting for you. It can pre-qualify the leads. It can put you in a position where when you start the conversation with someone, they already know what you do. So if they're talking to you, they're interested, right? If you put your profile together properly.
So let's pause for a moment, because there were several key ingredients in there to maximizing LinkedIn. The first thing I heard you say was that it allows you to almost skip a step in relationship building.
Yep.
So when you said that, I was thinking Facebook begins with the person who then shares about their business.
Yep.
LinkedIn begins with the business who then shares about the person.
That is a perfect way of saying that, Nancy. And it doesn't mean that LinkedIn isn't interested in the person. In fact, relationship is critical on LinkedIn if you're going to get business there. But the starting point is the business.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
that is,
is, I'm sorry, and I was going to say, which is your profile page is meant to be about that. Whereas on Facebook and Instagram, it's not as much about your business, it's about you as a human being. So think of it this way, everyone. You're looking for a way to kind of have a billboard to let everybody know who you are and how you serve. LinkedIn gives you that billboard, and it's expected.
absolutely. And one of the common mistakes that people make on their profile page when they go over to LinkedIn is that they think it is actually like about them as a person. And it's not. It is about your business. This is free real estate, folks. This is a free billboard, as Nancy put it. So that whole section on LinkedIn that says about me really isn't about you. Okay. It is really about you and what you have to offer and how you serve people and help people. You could almost be considered a sales page.
Yeah, beautiful. And while I'm thinking about it, I want to give everybody the link to your website, which I just put in the chat. And for those on the phone, simply go to barkerbusinesssolutions.com, and you'll be able to get an ebook from Laura about building your profile. Because I don't know about you, but when I get a connection request from somebody on LinkedIn or Facebook, the first thing I do is go look at their profile before responding if I don't know them yet. So having that profile free real estate, be able to say what you want to inspire the quality leads to create those connections is absolutely key.
It is critical, that's for sure. So I would encourage everybody to get the free ebook. This is a place for you to start to build your profile. Now, I can't convey everything in an ebook that is going to make your profile, as strong as it could possibly be, but this is at least going to get you in the ballgame.
Beautiful, beautiful. And share a little bit about some of the examples of how we do this in 20 minutes a day, and what kind of results can we expect when we apply the Barker method, as it's called.
Thanks. So the system that I teach is one that I developed, and it focuses really on 3 pillars. So you've got to know how to connect with your tribe, with the right people. And you do that by developing your ideal client or avatar. Then you have to know how to search for and find those ideal clients, right? And then you're going to connect with them. So it's a process. This is not like on Facebook where you find friends and click. This is really a process, but once you get the system down, it's easy peasy. So we connect first with the right people. The next step is to engage, because it's really all about the conversation. And a lot of us have heard that before, right? It's just a conversation, and it really is, but you want to be directing the conversation in a way that is relationship building, not salesy, and allows people to, this won't surprise you, get to know, like, and trust you, right? So that's the second step, is engagement. The third step to success on LinkedIn is the conversion step. I'm not talking about making the sale, because I can't help you do that. That's on you. What I can help you do, though, is convert that conversation to a one-to-one meeting, to scheduling a meeting with somebody. So those are the results that my students see when they employ what we fondly refer to as the Barker 20. And this is the 20-minute magic. Now, the 20-minute magic can't happen without the proper foundation, right? So if somebody's willing to kind of put the time in and develop their profile and understand the messaging sequencing, and I have developed something called a messaging tree to help people walk through that messaging when they're engaging with someone, that will lead to getting that one-to-one meeting.
Yeah,
that's what we all want, right?
Right. And we want one-to-one meetings. We want to be able to have conversations with people who are qualified. And what I'm hearing from you is this message tree, doing the research and the process and the way you teach to engage with your connections has people being more qualified.
Absolutely.
More likely to want your products or services, or to be able to partner with you or cross market. Like there's lots of different opportunities. And I'm curious about a couple of things. Is it okay if I ask a few questions?
Oh, of course.
So what I'm hearing is getting appointments set to talk with potential clients comes about from engaging, and that's through messaging on LinkedIn. Is that correct? You send messages to people when you make connections.
Yep.
All right. How does posting on your LinkedIn profile, like writing posts and putting up pictures, how does that play into this equation?
I am so glad you asked that, because I know so many people will teach that, oh, you have to post every day, or you have to write articles, and you have to do all that, right? I have not found that to be the case. So posting, if you think about a movie, you've got your leading actors, and you've got your or leading actor, right? Leading lady, leading man, and then you've got your supporting actors. Well, the leading activity on LinkedIn is your profile and your direct messaging.
Got it.
If only those 2 things are what you are working, you can have a tremendous amount of success. It's not to say that posting can't support you in your message and getting it out there. It can. But I will promise you this, you could post all day long and never get appointments set.
Thank
if
you.
that's the only thing you do.
I'm so
So
glad you said that. Yeah, I see so many people who spend their time, putting together content and articles and pictures and memes and sharing, good resources, which is all valuable. But listen clearly, if that's all you do and you don't engage and connect and have conversations through Messenger with people, and this, in my opinion, is both on LinkedIn and Facebook, if you don't actually engage in conversation, you'll be very disappointed and have wasted time and expense.
I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. One of my students had paid another coach specifically to teach her how to get engagement on her posts. So how to post, how to get views, how to get likes, comments, and shares, right? And she did a phenomenal job. So she had a pretty good profile. It wasn't bad at all. And she was posting just like she had been taught. She was getting, Nancy, upwards of 20,000 views per post.
That is impressive.
Very impressive, and very consistently. This was not just a one-off fluke. She was getting that on a regular basis. She was getting comments on her post to which she replied. So she was doing all the things that you kind of intuitively think you should be doing. But what she found, she wasn't getting any appointments. So she came in with me. We did some training on this, and she started implementing the Barker 20. And within the first week, she had appointments set, and she even had a new account.
Beautiful. Within the first week.
In the first week. It really is about the engagement in the direct messaging, not engagement from a post, which all that is good, like you said, but so if you've got time to do that, great. But if you've got 20 minutes a day, and I think most of us do, or could find it, especially if the payoff was going to be great, right? If you're going to be serving more people and making more money in 20 minutes a day. And it's not just a random 20 minutes a day on LinkedIn. My Barker 20 method is a very focused and specific 20 minutes. So we go through exactly, we get your profile in shape, teach you how to make those targeted connections, and then the engagement is
with your message tree.
The messaging tree.
Sounds intriguing. Yeah. That's awesome.
It's really good. And it's something that has been, I've been working on and developing for over 5 years and using for myself as well.
Something comes to mind for me, and it seems to me that there might be something going on subconsciously for people in wanting to post and write articles and put things out there, but feeling like that's what's supposed to produce the results, and actually having conversations and getting appointments with people is the last thing they think about. So it feels like the art of doing business with other people, which is direct, one-to-one or one-to-many, if you're speaking from a stage, that process has actually fallen by the wayside a little bit. Like, people don't recognize how important, like, that's the most important piece of your business, is talking with people.
Absolutely. And I think too, it's almost like people are intimidated or paralyzed about that direct conversation because they're uncertain about what to say, right? And so they're kind of analysis paralysis, if that means anything to anybody. But
and probably related to the whole fear about sales calls and follow-up and not wanting, like, that could be a conversation for another day, my friends. But
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about having a message tree is that it takes away the uncertainty. You've developed it, you're gonna work it, and it is so much more rewarding than posting and working your tail off, creating all that content and not getting any engagement or meetings.
Oh, interesting. So think about the amount of time you're spending trying to create all this content and doing graphics and all those other pieces, which is good value add. But if you took the 20 minutes a day and focused on this messaging that was clear, focus. I mean, what we want is to get appointments with people, to have conversations, to see how we can serve them. Why wouldn't you want to flip-flop the way that you're going about your business, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I did, years ago now. I used to think that posting was what I was supposed to do, and I wasn't getting any effect either. When I realized, when I kind of stepped back and took a look at it and realized, wait, I'm not getting those conversations that I need, right? I've got to find a way to have one-to-one conversations, because that is the only way you are going to get business, right? None of us sell just by putting something up on a billboard. However, I do want to say this, and this is really critical. If your profile is not optimized, you will not get that engagement. People will not connect with you. Your tribe won't connect with you if your profile doesn't speak to them. So it has got to be optimized, and that is a process. But once it's done, that means that while you're sleeping and somebody's checking out your profile and asking you to connect, who are in your tribe.
So good.
And that happens to me on a regular basis now, and has been.
And to the students that you're working with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What they start to see is that people are finding them, because think about this, folks. Everybody knows about SEO, right? Well, SEO doesn't just occur on Google. SEO occurs on LinkedIn. So if your profile is not optimized, you're not showing up in searches.
Right. We want it to show up. And that's why in your description, you'll have certain keywords or strings of sentences and things people are looking for. And oh, by the way, let me share this, that let's say your website is out of date, or you may not have a website yet. Your LinkedIn profile in a Google search will come up. If somebody puts your name in, LinkedIn comes up always on the first page when I'm looking for people.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Followed, not far behind, is the directory listing you get with Women's Prosperity Network.
Exactly.
So, you want more people to find you, get on LinkedIn and have that profile done. Don't even worry as much about a website if you don't have it yet. Just get your LinkedIn profile set up, which is why you want to get the book, the free guide to setting up your profile from Laura at barkerbusinesssolutions.com.
And Nancy, people may want to know also that I am teaching a masterclass next week. Is it next? Yeah, next
Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, the 9th, November 9th. So I'm teaching a masterclass on being able to implement learning what the Barker 20 is, learning how to implement it. And it's an hour and 45-minute class. So we get pretty deep in there. So I would love if anybody's interested in that. What would be the best way, Nancy, for them to learn?
I'll tell you.
You just put it in the chat. Look at you.
We're in sync.
You are brilliant. So if you're interested, you can get the information there, obviously on the link. And I'm really, look, I love this. Facebook came up first and LinkedIn came up third for Bonita Joy.
Bonita,
right?
That's right. That's what happens.
Absolutely. And remember, LinkedIn is free, right? So this is like a free website, folks.
It really is. And they pay, and have paid for years, massive amounts of money for search engine optimization.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to be listed in that directory?
Absolutely.
Like, hello. So go to barkerbusinesssolutions.com will take you to the ebook. And then once you get the ebook, you'll also be taken to the masterclass that she's doing next week. But if you just want to bypass all of that, go to the masterclass page, barkerbusinesssolutions.com/masterclass, all one word, masterclass. So you can enroll in that. And I believe are you still offering a one-on-one?
I am.
I was going to say, if you weren't, you now are, because I just spoke.
Well, I am. So we're in sync there too. Absolutely, folks. So, when you sign up for the masterclass, I am dedicated to people getting value from spending time with me and my system. And so when you take the masterclass, I also offer the opportunity to just meet with me, and we'll go over your profile, preferably after you've implemented what I've taught. That's the best way to get the maximum amount of benefit from it.
Yeah, beautiful. There's a question on Facebook from Keisha, and her question is to revisit what a message tree is.
Perfect. Thank you for that question, Keisha. A message tree basically is setting up a sequence of messages that you are going to use when communicating with a prospect on LinkedIn or anywhere else for that matter. You can use this concept anywhere, really. It is not automated messaging, and I want to make that clear. You still have to personalize every message that you write, but what the message tree does is gives you the framework in which to personalize it. So, for example, your first message to a connection is going to have one purpose, and that is to start the conversation. And how do you do that? Well, one simple way to do that is simply to say, hey, great to be connected here. Just curious, what's your business about? What are you focusing on this year? Something that is very easy to answer.
That is awesome. And again, comparing like the messaging when you're active on Facebook or Instagram compared to LinkedIn, because it's known as a business forum, you have permission to go right in and say, hey, what's your business focused on this year?
Absolutely.
And I love that beginning messaging in your message tree, and the way you guide it is not about, oh, here's who I am and what I sell. Do you want to buy my thing?
It is never about me, right? Remember the radio station we all know and love, WIIFM. What's
That's
in it
right.
for me? And the me is not me, it's you, right? It's what's in it for the person reading that message. What's in it for the person looking at your profile. It is never about you or me, right?
Yeah.
And yes, exactly. My classes are all recorded with lifetime access, and yes, we get a one-on-one.
Yeah, so we had a question in the chat. If you can't make it to the live class, will you still get the recording and still get a one-on-one? Absolutely. And Laura is doing all of this for just $27. So you get the one-on-one, you get the class, you get the recording. I think is there like a workbook or worksheet that goes with that class? I can't remember.
There is. So, you're going to come away with some worksheets that are going to make your profile pop.
Beautiful.
But even more than the ebook, this is really diving deep, because the first step, folks, is getting that profile optimized. It is going to do the heavy lifting for you. It's going to pre-qualify your leads so that when you have you're going to target your connections. They're going to accept your connection request, and thus they're pre-qualified, right? You've already done half the work. And then the engagement is not a heavy lift for you at that point.
Right. You're speaking with people more likely designed to be your clients or collaboration partners or joint ventures and ways to do things together. Like I think you told me, based upon your profile and some engagement you had, didn't you get asked to provide this LinkedIn training to other organizations?
I have actually.
And that was, they didn't know you, but it was because of the way your profile was and the messaging connections that you had.
Correct.
So here's what's possible when we do this right.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to stress too that you know, the other thing that's really important when you go onto LinkedIn is to understand why you are there. So some people are there to, probably most of us, get new business, get new clients. But others are there because they want to be on podcasts. They want speaking opportunities.
Right.
There are a whole lot of, or maybe even looking for a job. So this system works for all of those purposes. It really is. It's generic enough to be molded into your specific need or business, if that makes sense.
I've got a couple of questions already coming in, and Stacy says, can an assistant or team member attend as well to help her implement the strategy? So how do you do that?
That's a really good question, Stacy. I think I would say yes. I think on the master class, that would be fine. I mean, I hadn't really been asked, but I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, so
yeah, and the other thing is that the only other thing though about that is that also remember you do have the replay for a lifetime. So even if they can't make it or whatever.
Oh, that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Right. Because because I will say this, in the master class, if the person who's there is not actually, if it's not their profile, like I do a live review, right? So I'd have to know who's actually needing the review, if that makes sense.
Right. It would be the business owner.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I just have to kind of know those things in advance. So I hope that answered her question.
I think it did. So the team member would get access to the replay, or send the team member in your place, knowing that you're needing to work on the primary business owner's profile.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. And that's a really good point, is that all of us as business owners, we don't necessarily have to be doing the doing of all of this. We can get team members to come on LinkedIn and do that 20 minutes a day to find those connections. And if you've got a salesperson on your team, that's who the appointments are going to get set with. But if you don't have somebody whose primary role is consultations to lead to conversions, you're the one that needs to do it.
Absolutely. And I'll say that, so I have been using a virtual assistant for some years now. And let me just explain how that works for those of you out there who may have an assistant. It is possible for your assistant to do, for example, the targeted searching and connection requests. No issues there. They could even do potentially the first message to your connection, just asking about the other person's business. But what my VA does is that little bit. And then when I get responses to that first question, she simply flags them and sends me an email on a daily basis saying, these need your attention. Because it really has to come from me, right? Who wants to have a conversation and think it's me and then find out it was my assistant somehow, or not feel authentic, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, some of the messages that I get on LinkedIn that tick me off, are direct. Hey, Nancy, do you want to buy this thing? I see that you're a speaker, and would you like to be better at speaking? And I'm like, okay, you're making an assumption that I'm not good at speaking, right? Like, you really want to think about what is your messaging and the words you're using, conveying to the other person.
Absolutely. It is critical.
Yeah. We're at the point where we get to open up for questions, if that's okay with you, Laura.
Yeah, I guess I thought we were still we were there, so that's great.
My goodness. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead. And so if you're with us on Facebook, you can put your question in the comments below. And if you're here with us on Zoom, you can either unmute yourself if you're at your computer, or hit *6 on your phone, and I'll call you in a moment. You can raise your hand if you're with us on the Zoom as well. Let me start with Ivy's Ramirez.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. This is really enlightening. And then my question was, I definitely would like you to get to my LinkedIn, because I need that optimize and renew and everything. What is like a one basic thing that you must have to attract the people that you want to?
Great.
So that is a great question, Ivy's. It really is, in a word, your profile. Now, your profile has a lot of sections. And if I'm going to be honest with you, which I will always be, you really have to maximize all of those sections. But if you're just starting and you don't maybe know how to do that yet, the two critical things are going to be your profile picture. It's got to be professional, and your banner, your LinkedIn banner. So your banner needs to include your name, even though your name is there on your profile. Your banner is what people look at. That's a picture. That's the first thing they're going to see. So you also want to have on that banner a statement about how you serve others and your contact information. So a phone number, a website, an email address, something, so that with one look, they can know what you do, who you are, and how to reach you.
Beautiful.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
That
Wow.
was really good. So starting with your banner and your profile photo, which you want to have be current and up to date, so that when you get on Zoom, like when we were on the phone all the time, maybe it didn't matter, but now we're always on Zoom. So you do want to look like your picture. So a professional photo on your banner, your name, your business name, I presume as well, a way to contact you, and the main way that you serve people. That was awesome.
And let me say something about your profile picture. Oh my goodness. This is not Facebook. This is LinkedIn. Every time I see somebody's wedding picture up there on their profile picture, I'm just going, no.
Unless
right?
you're a wedding photographer or
Well, there
event
you go.
planner, right?
Maybe something then, right? But even though that's a great picture of you, right? This is not the place for it, right? Don't put yourself on the beach, even though that's a great picture of you.
Yeah.
Right. This needs to be a headshot.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. A professional.
Really
headshot.
good. Really good. And let me also mention that Canva, which I only recently discovered in the last year or so, they have templates for LinkedIn banners. Like we can make this easy on them ourselves. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you, Ivy's. I'm seeing in the chat, Kelly says, I'm redoing my banner right now. It's so good. And again, make sure you get her free ebook at barkerbusinesssolutions.com and register for the masterclass, which is barkerbusinesssolutions.com/masterclass. Let me go ahead and open up for our next caller, Stacy Clark.
Hello there. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, Stacey, how are you?
I'm great. And I have to say, both of you ladies are looking just marvelous. Just want to tell you that.
Oh, thank you.
Because that matters. Yes, you're both full of sunshine. So glad to see you ladies. So I just wanted to ask, is this class the same one that you did a few weeks ago, or maybe about a month or so ago? Or is it a different class?
So it's sort of the same class, but it keeps evolving.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Live,
No.
so it's never actually the same.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to know. I was not
Okay.
available for that one. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go forward with this one. I'm looking forward to it. I heard great things. So that's why I wanted to know whether or not it was the same or not. So thank you for everything that you've shared. I just as a follow-up question, I know that, as you said, Facebook is different, all the platforms are different. And nowadays it seems that many people are finally discovering the value of LinkedIn. And I wanted to know if you know anything about groups on LinkedIn. And if you share anything about that.
So she goes, oh boy, do I.
I have a group that's like 8 years old and I haven't been using it.
I love groups on LinkedIn, Stacey.
Okay, so I have one that I've had for years and I haven't been using it actively lately, and I want to revamp it and use it. So I wanted to know if I'm going to learn more about that.
Well, you will learn some about that in the master class. Of course, in an hour and 45 minutes, I can only cover so much, but I do have other opportunities where we can dive deeper. in the masterclass, you'll get a flavor of what you can do with groups on LinkedIn.
Awesome.
And it's
Awesome.
not just about having your own group, Stacy, but it's easier when you're starting to take advantage of other people's groups.
Right, right. And
Beautiful.
I can imagine that. I'm looking forward to both, but I think there's probably something of value, even if it's like an abandoned house that I've had, the fact that it's been there a long time, it has
Absolutely.
numbers in it. I think I
Yes.
can utilize it. And
Absolutely.
now I can come up with some ways to refurbish it using the
Beautiful.
same metaphor as the house. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, Stacy, and that is
Awesome.
correct. If you've got something that's already there, I'm all for, let's revamp it. Let's get it up and running.
Awesome.
And
Thank you,
serving you.
ladies.
You're welcome. And
Glad to be here with
Stacy,
you.
now is your time.
Absolutely.
It's
And
so
since you
good.
just said that, I'm just going to leave with what I love to leave anything with. I want to encourage everyone to be aligned, be productive, and be maximized.
Yes, Stacy Clark, the
Absolutely.
maximizer. Thank you, my friend.
Wonderful.
Awesome. All right, let's go. We got great questions coming in to support you using the Barker 20 to maximize your connections on LinkedIn and generate those quality leads, my friend. Stop trying to drive yourself crazy with, oh, I got to post here, I got to post there. How about if we just start connecting and engaging with the right people? Wouldn't that be nice? That's why we do all those other things. We hope those connections are going to come out of it. And I love that you're the shortcut. Let's just go right there.
Right?
So, so good. All right, let's go ahead, open up for my next caller, which will be Philomena. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? It's loud in here. I'm at
Yeah,
my,
so far, so good.
okay. I have two business page. I have a business page, I'm sorry, and I have a personal page, my LinkedIn.
Perfect.
I have not updated it because it's been 2 years that I've been off, semi-retired. I'm now getting back in doing some more passive income projects. And what is the first thing I ought to do? Get a new business page put up?
No,
Or
no.
leave personal? No.
It's all about your profile. And I want to make a distinction here. You're referring to it as your personal page. It's really not. It is also your business page.
Yes, but I have a business.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But what I want to make the distinction here is this. You need to be conceptualizing your quote personal page is actually your business page.
And
having a quote business page on LinkedIn is a low priority for a small business owner.
Okay, so here,
Love that.
The priority is your profile page.
I do have a profile that is business related. It's on
Good.
Philomena Day. However, I have an insurance that I want strictly separate, and that's Dream Bigger Financial Associates. That's my other business page.
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You have a profile page focusing on one business, and you have a business page focusing on another business.
A segment of my wealth and wellness programs, and then I have one just on my wealth programs.
Okay, you can have multiple business pages. They're all connected and run through your profile page.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I really need to.
What's your question?
My question is where to start. Do I start with separating these?
You got to start with your personal profile is what I've heard. So
you must start with your profile.
Okay.
And start at the top and work down.
Okay. I registered for Tuesday. We'll have a one-on-one.
Okay.
there you go.
There we go. That'll take care of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
So good. Yep. And congratulations, Philomena, Rosemary, Rhonda, so many, good on you, my friends, for knowing like this is your gold mine. Stop spinning your wheels in so many places. Let's just get to it.
Right. Well, I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years. I just never keep it up as much as I need to.
Well, aren't you so glad Laura's part of Women's Prosperity Network?
And Philomena, the thing is, really, once you lay this foundation that I talk about, it's 20 minutes a day. And whether you do
Mhm.
that 20 minutes 3 days a week, 1 day a week, 5 days, or 7 days, that's up to you, right? But if you will start using that system, you will start, you should start getting appointments. That's what my students are seeing. That's what I've been doing for years. Quick example of that, when I was having, and this hasn't happened in a long time, I'll be frank, but when I maybe looked at my calendar and I didn't have as many appointments in a week as I wanted, I would spend maybe 30 minutes on LinkedIn, extra 30 minutes on LinkedIn, simply doing a specific kind of messaging. And I could line up 3 to 6 appointments in 1 week without an issue.
So
Wow.
good.
Thank you, thank you. I do have to update it more often than I
Mhm.
have. So thank you. And my virtual assistant has already taken your course, so
Oh, but who was that? Or I shouldn't ask probably, but sorry.
that's fine. No, she's great, Maritza.
Oh,
Maritza
Maritza,
Perez,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So I
Awesome.
don't, okay, fantastic, fantastic.
Good. All right. I'm so glad you're here, Philomena. And let's take it to the next level, right? That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Philomena. We got some more questions coming in. Let's open up for Olivia Jones.
Good morning, ladies. My question is, with my LinkedIn profile, I'm also work with the state of Florida, so I want to be able to really focus more so on creating a promotion of the Mary Kay business. I have skills that are related to the secondary job. So when you talk about creating a profile that focuses and promotes my business more, my skills are still somewhat tied to my state job. So how or what suggestions
Great
would you?
question.
So this is a great question, Olivia, because many of us have multiple businesses and or jobs that we're working on. And what I mentioned a little while ago was knowing your why for being on LinkedIn. So if your job is not involved in getting new business for the company, then I would not focus on that on LinkedIn. I would focus on developing business. Think of LinkedIn as business development. So which business are you developing? Does that make sense, Olivia?
It does. So pretty much prioritizing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because let's face it, I'm going to guess that your job with the state doesn't require you to drum up business. Is that right?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
was really
exactly.
good.
So why would you be promoting your job, right? Which isn't involved in getting business for the state or the company that you might work for, right? It's a great skill set, and it brings value, and it lets people know who you are and the skills that you have, which are fantastic. But the business that you are developing is your Mary Kay business. So that's
and your leadership presence and image business.
Okay.
And Olivia, I just thought of something for you, because you probably do want to reference that you work for the State Department, right? It's somewhere in your about section, and Laura will guide you on that. What I was thinking is, that, and Laura, maybe I'm wrong, but a statement, something like, Olivia has parlayed her 25 years leading teams and organization and presentation skills into her business of blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. You're
Yeah,
gonna want to work that.
yeah.
You're definitely gonna want to work
So that way my skills, because it's like I have these skills and talents that I'm utilizing here, but I'm transferring these skills now to.
Correct. So that's how you blend those together and bring with you your expertise as opposed to I'm starting something brand new, and the perceptions people may have about that.
Okay.
That's beautiful, Olivia. And I didn't know that about you, so I'm thrilled to learn it. And it is absolutely something that you can use to bolster your position on LinkedIn as a Mary Kay consultant, both as a beauty consultant, but also as a leader for teams and for your business.
Love it. Love it.
So good.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Mary Jane's like, Nancy and Laura, the brain trust, like put us together.
Oh, you're great, Mary.
Thank you, Mary Jane. And actually, we're going to open up next for Mary Jane. We may have time for one or two more questions. So go ahead if you want to put it in the chat or comments on Facebook. Go ahead and do that. In the meanwhile, Mary Jane Charles, good morning.
Good morning. I think I'm unmuted. Am I?
You certainly are.
Okay. All right. So in speaking of the banner, because I'm in the middle of it on Canva and I keep looking at it, I wind up, I spend too much time on decorating rather than getting the job done. So anyhow, I have like 4 versions. So is it to be almost a replica of a business card, Laura?
The banner you're talking about?
So I
Yes.
would not really frame it that way, although I understand why you're asking the question based on what I said earlier about having your contact information and how you serve and that sort of thing. So it would not have the visual look of a business card.
Okay.
Even though it may contain some of the same information.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are not alone in getting lost in the design aspects on Canva. Oh my gosh, I have so many different designs that I've created for a banner. And in fact, on WPN's Momentum, great program offered by WPN. If you're not familiar with it, it's been phenomenal for me. I actually brought 4 different banner
Oh,
looks.
yes, you did.
Remember,
Mhm.
and use the group as a focus group.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
was unanimous about which one they liked the best. And you can see which one they liked the best if you go to my LinkedIn profile, because it's up there now.
That's awesome.
So Laura, following up on that, did you like the one that they all picked?
I did. I liked
Yeah.
it, and I used it. Yes.
That's always good too.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All
Thank
right.
you, ladies.
You're
Yep.
most
Thank you.
welcome, my
Thank you.
friends. Love it, love it. All right, I'm going to give one more question that we had come in on the Facebook group. And this was Dorothy Ross. And if you're still with us, Dorothy, and you want to open up, you can. Otherwise, I'll read it. She said, I get at least 50 to 80 people that look at my profile. How can I use that? Or is it value?
It does have value in a couple of different ways, Dorothy May. One is just, it gives you an idea of how your profile is doing, how it's ranking, that sort of context. You will not be able to see the names of the people who are viewing your profile on the free version of LinkedIn.
I'm so glad you're going here because I wanted to ask that question.
And yeah, absolutely. And I want everybody here to know that what I teach can all be done on the free version. You do not have to have the paid version of any paid version of LinkedIn to be successful in getting new business from LinkedIn.
All right. So because I get those messages all the time, your name showed up in 1,000 searches this week. Your profile was looked at. Those are really carrots that LinkedIn is dangling to get us to pay, right?
That is exactly right. Those are basically advertisements for LinkedIn's paid versions, right? And
Wow.
I just need to share something so important with everyone before I forget. Sometimes LinkedIn will ask you to encourage you to send something called an in-mail. I don't know if y'all have seen that before, but as you get into LinkedIn, you will. Don't do it. Don't do it. It will cost you money and or credits, which ends up costing money. You do not have to use in-mail to message people. There are ways around it that I don't have time to go into right now, but please don't be tempted to. That's just another way for LinkedIn to get into your pocketbook.
Amazing. All right. Great tips. So much value here. Laura, thank you for sharing your expertise and your tips. And I just love the abundant mindset that you present with. Like, she pulls back the curtain and shows you exactly what she's used to build several successful businesses. So get on the masterclass, get the ebook, go to barkerbusinesssolutions.com/masterclass, and you get a one-on-one with her too. So be sure to go ahead and do that.
Hey, Nancy, I noticed in the chat from Rosemary, says she signed up for the ebook, but didn't see a link to get into the class. Is that on that? That should have shown up for her, right?
Yeah, so once you register, once you request the download of the ebook, the page that has the ebook on it also gives you a link to the masterclass.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Heshi asks, will in-mail be talked about on the masterclass?
It will.
Okay, there you go.
It will.
And Heshi Siegel, if you have not yet met my friend Laura, you guys need to know each
Oh,
other.
we know each other.
Okay, good.
We love each other.
Okay.
Nancy is amazing. We have
Isn't
so
she?
much in common. It is ridiculous. Yeah.
I was feeling that when I saw that she was
Yes.
here with us today. I'm like, these ladies need to know each other. Of course you already do.
And I noticed also in the chat, Aurelia mentioned that you can still see some of the people that view your profile, and that is correct. You'll only see, I think it's 3 now. I could be, I think it's 3 a day, Aurelia. But when you're looking at, you know, hundreds that are viewing your profile, I just kind of want to let people know you won't be able to see those. But if you, and the 3 that you see in one day will disappear the next.
Got
So
it.
you have to
Great,
really
great
be
tip.
on it if you're going to take advantage of that. But it's a great comment, Aurelia. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. And I love that. As she said, I got up early only, all caps, for Laura, because she is fabulous. Yes, she is.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Good. All right, couple of things. Can your class help with releasing and marketing an SaaS app? Which I'm not sure what that is. That was a Facebook question.
SaaS is software as a service. So
Yes.
absolutely, if you're developing a SaaS, then it is business development. You're going to be looking for partners, perhaps, or perhaps you're
Investors.
looking for people to use the app.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely, it can be extremely productive. Think about it. Software as a service appeals to whom? Business people.
Yeah,
generally
very
speaking,
good.
right?
Yeah.
And so your tribe is there. Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Another question, does your business, Laura, purely focus on LinkedIn? And that gives us a moment to talk about, so LinkedIn is about maximizing your growth. And then she also specializes in showing you how to minimize risk. So let's give 2 minutes to that conversation.
Okay, so no, it doesn't just focus on LinkedIn. I'm a small business strategist with years of experience in and having developed very successful businesses. So I love to coach small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs into understanding how to lay the proper foundation for a business so that it can be sustainable. And I love being able to see them go from kind of fear and uncertainty to I've got this, right? So that's my businesses that I have range from the consulting that I'm doing here that we're talking about on LinkedIn. I also have a very successful business solutions legal shield career or business where I work only in the voluntary benefits space, maybe Greek to some of you, but basically employee benefits with Legal Shield and ID Shield. And then I have a internationally successful retail business where we created and patented a different kind of headband, and it is now sold all over the world. And we have structured that company so that a portion of our proceeds go to support an orphanage in Zimbabwe that we already had a connection with.
Woo. See, I'm telling you, ladies, you want to get on with Laura. She's amazing. So thank you for those great questions. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up today. If you did not already register, do it now. Get the ebook and join the masterclass so that you can have a one-on-one as well with Laura. Go to barkerbusinesssolutions.com for the ebook and barkerbusinesssolutions.com/masterclass, all one word, so that you can register for the class. If you can't make the live class, you'll get the replay and that consultation with Laura. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and your heart with us today, my friend.
Oh, thank you. It's such an honor and privilege. Appreciate everyone on this call, and especially you, Nancy.
Thank you so much. Get out there, my friends. We'll be back next week with another wonderful Wow Wednesday. And until then, get out there and be the one to make a difference in the life of someone else. We'll see you soon. Bye, Laura. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.